saw someone wear a Star Wars shirt,
Yeah.
and it occurred to me,
Uh-huh.
wow, I completely forgot there's a Star Wars movie playing in the theaters right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm wearing a Star Wars shirt.
The worst Star Wars movie ever.
So we saw Hereditary.
Hi guys, welcome to our After Dark. This is...
You gotta make it short because it's gonna die pretty soon.
Yeah. This is we saw Hereditary. A really good movie. A24 does it again. Or should I say Disney? I'm just kidding. Hi Peter.
I've heard some rumors about Disney running in an A24.
Yeah.
You know? We'll see what happens. I heard on Twitter.
Yeah, from an inside source.
Mm-hmm.
Very inside source. So, we saw Hereditary. I went in. I knew that it was a good movie, but I didn't know how good. And obviously, it matched my expectations. Because this is how, After Dark's work. I go first. The guy goes first. Second, I really enjoyed Hereditary. I think like what they did creatively with shots was beautiful. Like the way that the dynamic sets really worked. Everything really flowed together really well. And that's what I could say about this movie, is that it flowed excellently. And like the pacing, you were like, okay, I like the fact that you gotta spend a lot of time with the family first before the shit got real.
The shit show.
Yeah, and then boy did it get real. I like horror more than he does. I've watched my 80s slasher films. I've watched all that stuff.
And I spent my whole life avoiding those kind of movies.
Yeah, I've seen the Conjuring movies and all that stuff, and I genuinely love horror. It's a great genre. And as a horror fan, I'm like, damn, this is some of the best horror material that I've seen in quite some time. I mean, yeah, the James Wan movies are really good, but just this alone was really worth the price of admission. I really thoroughly enjoyed what was being presented on screen, the story, the character dynamics between the whole family. I mean, the thing that you gotta get right about this movie is that get the family down, because otherwise the shit that happens, it won't work if you don't have that dynamic down. There's this one particular scene where Tony, I'll call her Tara, from the United States of Tara, she was discussing with her son, and they was having like this really tense dinner that they had, and the acting in that scene was impeccable. I'm sorry I don't know the name, but I saw her in United States of Terra, and she was fantastic in the way that she performed. And this right here, if it were up to me on the Academy board, I would automatically put her in for lead actress. That's how good she was in this. Alex Wolff, humble beginnings from the Naked Brothers band, and now he's in like this ultra like dynamic horror film, and he stood his ground, and he stood his ground well. And I think that everything that was presented in this movie, just like what they did with sound, there's not really much score going on until like the very end. It was just a really well pieced together movie. All the pieces and puzzle pieces worked and meshed well, and I think that this is definitely a movie for the ages, and definitely something to be in the discussion of modern day horror filmmaking. That's my Hereditary review. Alexis, the man with very little words. I want you to speak, because I know that I'm very interested to see what you thought, because this isn't your genre. So getting your perspective from an outside view is very, very, very intriguing. So, Alexis, what did you think of Hereditary? Wow. Okay.
What he said.
That that was our After Dark.
No, don't let it there. Visually disturbing.
It was impeccably disturbing.
Deliciously horrific.
Uh-huh. All the flies are coming in.
Yeah, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. So... Oh shit, what the fuck was that? See, I'm already seeing things.
Are you spooked?
Well, maybe I can handle myself better than I thought over the years when it comes to horror films. I don't like to see them for the most part because I don't like to be freaked out. That being said, though, this was. Whew. This was. I don't even want to talk about what happens because and we'll have a podcast on this. We'll discuss this, but what can you really say? I think this is one of the first times I noticed though. When we walked back to the car, just completely silent.
Yeah, well, I walked in complete silent when I was absolutely. You weren't here for Solo. Well, but I walked to the car silently, but all for the wrong reasons. This movie, right now as we speak, it's automatically in my top 10 favorite films of this year.
Well, I haven't even seen that many movies for this year, but if I did, it would be. This might end up being another really sleeper year in film, considering what has happened. I know you haven't seen Annihilation yet. You gotta see that film. I haven't seen Quiet Place yet, but that one's also getting a lot of traction. Hereditary, Suspiria is coming out pretty soon. A lot of great stuff.
This seems like 2018 is a great year in horror. Mm-hmm. It's shaping up to be like that because with Suspiria, Quiet Place, and Hereditary, this seems like it's good.
There are some horror elements in Annihilation, I'll say.
Okay, so
pretty
you got like horror, thriller. Yeah. You got that. So it looks like it's shaping up to be a really stellar year in horror, which I love. I love this instant resurgence of horror, like good quality horror. Mm-hmm. You know, because for a while in the early 2000s, like it's been dying down, but now it's like Frankenstein's fucking monster. Yeah. You know, it's risen, and it's and that's the thing that I noticed is that, you know, and also A24.
Yeah, I mean A24 is doing great. We'll see when Disney buys it and see what happens thereafter. But I do want to say though, I mean, if you know what a scary movie is, yeah. When you know what a scary movie is, you'll know exactly what you're getting in for. I mean, there's not really a surprise as to how this goes, except maybe the end. But when things reveal themselves, my God, it's pretty horrific. Mm-hmm. I think I've already said that word so many times, but let's just say it is devilishly haunting.
Yeah.
And I'll say this though, even though it ended in a way I expected, though, you know horror movies, you know how they end. Everything leading up to that, I was not expecting. When certain things happen, there was this one scene. You know which one? It came really early on in the movie after a certain party. And I cannot remember when my jaw was like literally my jaw dropped, and it stayed that way for like a prolonged period of time. I could not believe in a lot of times in this movie what I was seeing.
I remember watching that particular scene, and I had to stop eating because I was like,
it's disgusting. It's disgusting, and they also show the aftermath of that several times over. It's also pretty gory too. A lot of the things that happen. It is great.
The little girl, who played Charlie, great actress.
Yeah, I mean, I think actress. If you saw in the trailer, the expression on her face, I think, is haunting enough, really, for a lot of what happens in this film. But the things that happen,
very deadpan.
Yeah.
And that's the
The acting is amazing. The writing is great. Like you said, it's shot beautifully. I don't know how much money this movie got, but I mean, I think they work with what they got. I think this is a stellar film, and one of those movies that we'll be seeing, we'll be talking about at the end of the year for sure.
The special effects too.
Whew.
Yeah. It's subtle. It's very subtle, but you notice it.
I also love how it takes its time though. Like I know, I'm not sure, not for me anyway, that the pacing was ever slowed down, but shocked that this has like a D+ cinema score.
I think it's because I expect it to be like balls to the wall, like insane, but
it kind of was.
Well, yeah, towards the end, but I think like they were expecting it to be like front to back.
You got to build up to it though,
yeah,
and it really does build up to it, and it just unleashes everything at you. There are some like disgusting, horrifying images that make me want to set myself on fire just thinking about how disgusting. There was this creature naked thing at the end that, oh god, it like the chills. Seriously, God,
it's definitely a lot of stuff you could see, like, okay, this is where he's gonna do that, but then like leading up to it, and what makes a good horror film pretty much is caring about these characters. You know, like for example,
but you feel for everything that happens to this family.
Like for example, when you watch The Evil Dead, you care about Ash. You care about Ash, and that's the character that you are driven at, and that's why you're rooting for him to the end. You know, to get away from this whatever these entities are, and just that's the way that horror presents itself. I like how it's like kind of like reverse. On a cliche, a certain cliche, known as Final Girl. I really like how they twisted that cliche.
Okay.
And for those who know horror, you know what I'm talking about. And I like how they really just like put this twist and edge into it, and just like brought, it felt very much like an 80s horror movie, but shot and directed with modern day techniques, and that's pretty much the way that I could describe it. Just go see it for sure. This movie pulls no stops. It's a great
time.
It's a great time. Looking, just go in. Don't have any expectations going in. Just go in pure. I strongly recommend it. How about, what do you think?
I'll just say this. For those of you who follow this channel, Alexis Moreno and Peter Martinez agree on a movie, 100%. That never happens, which is one of my main reasons why I wanted to see this.
You're like, what the shit?
Exactly.
It's like dogs and cats living together.
And you know what's even more rare? All four of us agreeing 100% on the movie. So there it is.
We're gonna have a very wait, unless you put stuff in for what's happening hot stuff. That's gonna make that's good. I kind of don't want to do that because I feel like we're gonna have a very positive.
I think we will.
Podcast when we review Hereditary. It's just a solid, good movie.
Go watch it. Go watch it.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Kyle Lira. Check you guys out on the Spotlight. Check us out on podcast.com, iTunes.com, Google Play Music. And then if you check for more stuff on YouTube. Anyway, I'm Kyle Lira. Bye.